On a cold November morning in 2022 Rome, Georgia police were dispatched to investigate a seemingly minor call, a suspicious vehicle found in a shallow ravine in a quiet local park. The blue Toyota Prius sat partially submerged in water, tipped on its side like someone had simply rolled it into the creek. There were no skid marks, no signs of acceleration, no hint of panic. The car was in neutral. To officers, it looked disturbingly intentional. And when the plates came back registered to a young man named Aaron Davies, a 21-year-old who hadn't been responding to calls, alarm bells quietly began ringing. Aaron's family didn't know yet. His girlfriend didn't know yet. But the discovery of that abandoned car marked the beginning of a nightmare none of them could have prepared for. When police reached Aaron's father, Randy, he immediately drove to Rome with his wife to help search for their son. Aaron had vanished during a trip he'd been looking forward to for days. He was supposed to visit his longtime girlfriend in Alabama. Rome, Georgia was the halfway point, and he planned to stay overnight with his best friend of more than a decade, Brandon Risner. Aaron never arrived in Alabama. His girlfriend's last conversation with him had been 2 nights earlier. He sounded excited, happy, ready to spend time with her. She expected him the next morning. Instead, she got silence. Calls went to voicemail. Texts delivered but were never read. Something was very wrong. When she messaged Brandon, hoping he had seen Aaron, he responded casually. His phone must have died. We're out walking. He'll be over tomorrow. It was a lie. And it was only the first one. Police decided to do something simple. Go check on Brandon. When officers arrived, Brandon seemed nervous but cooperative. He explained that he and Aaron had been drinking heavily the night before and that Aaron had gotten sick in the bathroom. Brandon claimed he had cut his own hand when he dropped a wine bottle. According to him, he had gone to bed around midnight and woke up at 1 a.m. to discover Aaron's car gone. His story felt rehearsed. Every question had an oddly perfect answer. Officers felt it immediately. They were being managed. Brandon agreed to let them search the house. Officers walked inside, not knowing they were stepping into a slaughterhouse. Nothing about the home looked normal. Bleach bottles were scattered around. Blankets and sheets were stained dark brown. A washing machine churned with soaking linens. And the air had that unmistakable, metallic, suffocating smell. Dried blood. But nothing compared to what officers found upstairs. Inside Brandon's bedroom, behind the bed, beneath hastily moved furniture, was a pool of blood so large, so soaked into the carpet that seasoned officers froze in disbelief. This was no alcohol poisoning, no vomiting, no accident. This was murder. And then Brandon did something that shocked everyone. He ran. Before officers could realize he was about to bolt, Brandon took off out the door and vanished into the nearby neighborhood. Police launched a massive search. Dozens of units spread out across blocks, backyards, woods, and streets. One officer reported seeing a man matching his description, casually walking with long hair covering his face. Brandon had tried to disguise himself. While police hunted, Brandon's father, Jeremy, learned what had happened and drove straight into town. He looked terrified, confused, and desperate to understand. But the biggest surprise came when he handed something unexpected to detectives. Brandon's phone. He claimed he found it on the street. Officers didn't believe it. Hundreds of police had just searched that same area without locating anything. But when Jeremy said he looked through the messages, which included Brandon texting people pretending to search for Aaron, everyone knew something was escalating far beyond a missing person case. And then Jeremy said something that changed everything. Brandon wants to surrender. That evening, Brandon walked into the police station with his parents. His face was blank, his demeanor calm. He sat down in the interrogation room. And before detectives could ask a single question, Brandon whispered, "You need to send someone out to find the body." Detectives left the room. What they found on his phone was worse than any of them imagined. On Brandon's phone, police uncovered searches made that night. How to clean blood out of carpet. Does Walmart have duct tape? Best secluded locations. How to drain a washing machine. A digital to-do list after the murder. Clean, shower, create alibi. Disturbing lyrics he wrote. He screamed until he choked on his own tongue and blood. Personal notes detailing the murder itself. Brandon had been fantasizing about killing for months. He believed God was giving him signs. And when Aaron told him he would be passing through town, Brandon took it as the moment he had been waiting for. Following instructions Brandon's father relayed from him, Police searched an overgrown wooded area near an old cemetery. Buried in a shallow grave, wrapped in plastic and bound in duct tape, they found the mutilated body of Aaron Davies. The coroner's report was horrifying. Aaron had suffered more than 40 stab wounds. His body showed signs of attempted dismemberment. A portion of his small intestine was missing. And there were no defensive wounds. Aaron never even woke up. Brandon had climbed onto the roof, crawled through a window, and attacked his sleeping friend in cold blood. Afterwards, he dragged the body to the shower to continue his mutilation attempt. When that failed, he wrapped Aaron in plastic, stuffed him into a suitcase, and dumped him in the woods. Then he went to Walmart to buy cleaning supplies. Then he texted Aaron's loved ones pretending to be concerned. When Brandon was arrested, he immediately requested a lawyer, but the evidence was overwhelming, disturbing, absolute. His parents, who had known Aaron since childhood, were devastated. Aaron's mother said through tears, "I have served Brandon thousands of dinners, all the while he was planning to murder my son." Aaron's girlfriend spoke next. "He loved me and I loved him. I will never be the same. Aaron saw my soul." In June 2024, Brandon Risner was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. When the judge delivered the sentence, he spoke with finality. "Justice requires that Mr. Risner be in prison for life without parole." And so it was done. Aaron Davies trusted his best friend. A friend he'd grown up with. A friend he'd spent holidays, church services, and school days with. A friend he thought he was safe sleeping near. He had no idea that Brandon had been quietly slipping into a delusional obsession, planning the unimaginable. This wasn't a crime of passion. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a split-second loss of control. It was premeditated, cold, calculating, evil. Aaron's life was taken by the one person he trusted most. And that betrayal is the darkest part of this entire story. If this story moved you, remember behind every statistic is a human being who once laughed, loved, and dreamed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that uncover the darkest sides of human nature and the lessons they leave behind. This is True Crime and Scam Stories, where every story has a heartbeat.